and today we're going to be talking about negative self-talk. It's something that we all do, and it's also something that really prevents us from being able to achieve the goals that we've set for ourselves, or to also have the confidence and the self-worth that we so desire, and actually is the motivator for us to be able to go out and get not only what we want, but what we deserve. So it's really important to have an awareness of what you say to yourself and the internal dialogue that you have with yourself. What we often don't realize is that we are our own worst enemy. There are so many other people out there who are so willing to point out our insecurities and our flaws. It's very detrimental to your self-worth and your self-identity if you are the loudest voice of them all. And it's a really hard habit to break. It's easy to start, but it can be a difficult habit to break because it really happens on this level where a lot of people don't even have an awareness that they're doing it. So one of the things that I really want to make sure that I can help you do today is to, first of all, bring some awareness to the behavior itself, and then really talk about what are some of the ways that you can actually overcome negative self-talk. And one of the first things we want to do, we want to identify some of the most common patterns of self-talk that we all have engaged in at some time or another. The first one is fortune telling. Now, fortune telling is when you become a fortune teller and you predict your future. So what you might tell yourself is, I'm not even going to go for that job interview because I'm never going to get it. So what you've now done is you've told yourself what is going to happen. And so you've created this belief system to where you don't have to put any effort out or put yourself out there because you already know the outcome. This is a really common form of negative self-talk that people engage in, and it really is just part of avoidance. It's avoidance of putting oneself out there, and also the fear of possible failure, not succeeding at something that you really truly desire. Another really common pattern is perfectionism, and perfectionism is when you have these extreme standards that need to be met in order for you to pursue a goal or to do something. So perfectionism might be, I need to lose 50 pounds in a month, which is extreme, and it might be realistic for someone who, say, is an athlete or someone who is really committed to it, but for most people that's a really difficult task to achieve, and probably not necessarily a healthy one. So what you do is you set up this really kind of perfect idea of what you want to happen, and you really can never achieve it because it's so unrealistic. And again, that's another way to avoid even trying. The all or nothing pattern of self-talk. That is when you create this, if I don't get everything that I want or have it show up the way that I want it, then I don't want any part of it. The all or nothing could show up in the form of what your expectations are in your partner, or what your expectations are when you're dating. And you could have this full laundry list of all the things that you want, and if you don't find all of them, say maybe he has one or two characteristics that you're not super crazy about, and then so you tell yourself, well, I can't be with that person. Or if it's a job and you tell yourself, well, I can't do that job because there are a couple things about it that I don't like. So that's the all or nothing pattern, where you really set the standard that is so ultimately high that there's really, again, no way that you can achieve it. And also comparative thinking is another one that I want to talk to you about, and comparative thinking is really common. We all have done it at some point in time, and it's when we look outside of ourselves and compare ourselves to other people. And it's really part of that whole, like the Joneses, wanting what the Joneses have. The grass is always greener on the other side. We look at what people have, we look at what people have achieved, we look at physical beauties or attributes in another person, and we compare ourselves to that. And if you notice, you'll always pick an extreme for comparison, and what that does is it really just confirms your self-doubts and your insecurities when you do that type of a comparison. And in a way, that confirmation allows you to stay in your comfort zone. A lot of people don't recognize that there is comfort in your pain, or comfort in avoidance, or comfort in never stepping outside your comfort zone to try something new because of the fear and the uncertainty that's attached to it. So a lot of times we will do and say things to ourselves to keep us in this very protected space where, yeah, maybe bad things are happening around me, but I'm pretty used to it. I'm very aware that my circumstances are not good, and I've gotten adjusted to it, and people choose to stay there. If you have made a decision that you really want to change your circumstances and you really want to take back control of your life, one of the first things that you have to do is you really have to be aware and in control of what you tell yourself.